Gator, Gumbo, written by Cadence Fleming and illustrated by Sally Ann Lambert. Let me tell you about Monsieur Gator. Monsieur Gator, he lives down in the bayou. Oh, yes, he do. He lives at the edge of the swamp. He has big claws, big teeth, and a big appetite for sure. But Monsieur Gator, he has a big problem too. You see, Monsieur Gator, he is getting old. He is growing gray. He is moving so slow. Whew! I tell you, that gator moves slower than sawgrass grows. He moves slower than a snail with sore feet. He moves so slow, he cannot catch himself a taste of possum, or a bite of otter, or a whiff of a striped-tailed skunk. And oh, ho, them critters sure know it. What do you think these three are going to do with those sticks, eggs, and slingshot? Can you predict what they're going to do to our main character, Monsieur Gator? They sass Monsieur Gator. They tease Monsieur Gator. They pester Monsieur Gator something fierce. They smarty pants chant, try, as hard as you can. You can't catch us 'cause you're an old man. How would you feel if someone did this to you? Poor Monsieur Gator. At every meal he wipes away his tears and moans, Sacre Dieu, vegetables again. One morning, as Monsieur Gator eats his thin breakfast of leaves, moss, and roots, Mademoiselle Possum comes tail hanging from her tree. Yoo-hoo, Monsieur Gator, she calls as she swings back and forth just out of reach. Am I looking tasty? Am I looking good? Monsieur Gator, he clamps tight his jaws and doesn't say a word. So Monsieur Otter comes first shaking from the water, joining making fun. Oh, I'm so scared, he mocks. Please don't eat me. And he sticks his paws in his ears, sticks his tongue out of his mouth, and goes, Naya, naya, poo, poo. Monsieur Gator, he grinds hard his teeth and still doesn't say a word. So Madam Skunk comes sashaying from her log. She wiggles her striped fanny, puffs her perfume, and asks in a sugar-cane voice, Do I smell like lunch? Then all three fall on their backs, kick up their feet, hold in their bellies, and laugh till they cry, Hiya, hiya, hiya. And Monsieur Gator, he gets hot, red hot, hotter than Gumbo. I'm gonna cook up some gumbo just like Mama used to make, he cries. So Monsieur Gator, he builds up a fire. He sets a big pot over the flames. He calls out to them laughing critters, Who's gonna fill this pot with water so I can cook up some gumbo? I ain't, snickers Mademoiselle Possum. I ain't, snickers Monsieur Otter. I ain't, snickers Madam Skunk. Then I'll be doing it myself, says Monsieur Gator. Splash, pour, slop. That water goes into the pot. Pretty soon, the water is bubbling hot and the steam is rising high. Whew! But them critters ain't never seen anything like it. They stop their guffawing. They take a step toward the pot. Says Monsieur Gator. Almost like Mama used to make. All this gumbo needs now is some claw-pinching fish. Who's gonna catch the crawdads? I ain't, smirks Mademoiselle Possum. I ain't, smirks Monsieur Otter. I ain't, smirks Madam Skunk. Then I'll be doing it myself, says Monsieur Gator. Hook, peel, drop. Them crawdads go into the pot. You know when you cook it smells so good. What's your favorite thing to smell when it's cooking? Well, it doesn't take long for that sweet smell of crawdads to up and tweak them critter snouts. They step closer to the pot. Says Monsieur Gator. Almost like Mama used to make. All this gumbo needs now is some health-building greens. Who's gonna pick the okra? I ain't, snorts Mademoiselle Possum. I ain't, snorts Monsieur Otter. I ain't, snorts Madam Skunk. Then I'll be doing it myself, says Monsieur Gator. Pluck, slice, pop. That okra goes into the pot. The next thing you know, the smell of the tangy okra and sweet crawdads set them critters' lips smacking. They step a bit closer to the pot. Says Monsieur Gator. Almost like Mama used to make. All this gumbo needs now is some tongue-flaming flavoring. Who's gonna grind the spices? I ain't, sniffs Mademoiselle Possum. I ain't, sniffs Monsieur Otter. I ain't, sniffs Madam Skunk. Then I'll be doing it myself, says Monsieur Gator. Mince, dice, chop, them spices go into the pot. And you guessed it, the smell of sharp spices, tangy okra, and sweet crawdads gets them critters' bellies grumbling. They step even closer to the pot. Says Monsieur Gator. Almost like Mama used to make. All this gumbo needs now is some long-grained fluff. Who's gonna add the rice? I ain't, snaps Mademoiselle Possum. I ain't, snaps Monsieur Otter. I ain't, snaps Madam Skunk. Then I'll be doing it myself, says Monsieur Gator. Pour, scrape, glop, that rice goes into the pot. Well, I tell you, there ain't nothing like the smell of white rice, sharp spices, tangy okra, and sweet crawdads. The savorious aroma of it all drives them critters so wild they rush right to the edge of the pot. Says Monsieur Gator. Almost like Mama used to make. All this gumbo needs now is some hungry folks. Who's gonna help eat it? Me, cries Mademoiselle Possum. Me, cries Monsieur Otter. Me, cries Madam Skunk. What do you think? Would you let them eat even though they hadn't helped? Raise your hand if you would. Now raise your hand if you wouldn't let them eat. Says Monsieur Gator. I filled the pot and I caught the crawdads. I picked the okra and ground up the spices. Heck, I even added the rice. So now I'm gonna eat this gumbo all by myself. And he pulls out a big spoon and he dips it deep into that gumbo. Just one taste, begs Mademoiselle Possum. One taste, please, begs Monsieur Otter. One taste and we won't tease you no more, promises Madam Skunk. One taste? Asks Monsieur Gator. Is that all? Yes, cry them critters. Well, I suppose, says Monsieur Gator. Slurp, slip, plop. Them animals go into the pot, and Monsieur Gator, he sniffs that delicious smelling stuff. He says, now this is gumbo just like Mama used to make. What do you think the moral or lesson was to this story?